everybody, it is Romania Black and happy holidays. It's the end of 2025 and I am doing two videos this month to round out the top manga, anime, donghua movies that I've watched for the year. So I wanted to start off by doing a recap of all of the manga and movies that I've watched this year because it's been a lot. And I was like, there's no way I can fit all of my top anime, all of my top manga, all of my top movies watched for the Patreon commission tier in one video with the January update. It'll be hours long. And maybe you all are up for that, but we need to spread it out and spread the love on the channel this month. So with that being said, this video is going to cover my top manga and top movies watched on this channel for 2025, which is actually been a lot, a crazy amount. So we are going to have a top 20 for the manga, and then the movies, we've actually watched 39 movies this year. Wild. So yeah, we're just going to dive right into it. First, before I start though, I want to thank a couple of people. First, I want to thank everyone on Patreon. Those of you who support me on my Patreon, I do not monetize YouTube. So my YouTube channel gets no money or revenue for me, nothing, which I don't really need that anyway, but I really appreciate your support on Patreon because you help me to buy the manga that I review. You help me to pay to rent the movies that I watch. You help me to pay for streaming subscriptions for movies that I use on the channel or TV shows that I watch. You all help me to keep that going because I'm not a big TV watcher, honestly, except for anime. So I probably wouldn't have a lot of the services I do without Patreon. So thank you all so much this year for helping me to be able to get these different pieces of media to support the official releases of them so that I can come on here and talk about them to you. So thank you so much, Patreon. You all are amazing. We'll talk about the commission tier in a little bit. And thank you so much for those of you on YouTube who are watching and supporting my channel because you all help me to get exposure, to help show people my channel, show people my rambles, and also help me to create a community where I can talk about these series with you because I really don't have anybody except for my brother. My brother is not a shoujo, not a shipper. We have very different tastes in anime, so I can talk to him a little bit about things that I like, but the whole reason I have this channel is to talk to you all about anime and be able to just share my love for it. So if you are on YouTube, please help me spread the love, like this video, comment down below your favorites from my list that I'm going to talk about. And then also, please subscribe if you've not subscribed already. If you don't know if you subscribe, check it out. You may be surprised. So, all right, now that we've got all those shameless plugs out of the way, we need to dive right into it. I'm going to be starting with my top 20 manga for the year. Now, there actually were only 11 manga that I technically have finished. There's going to be one outlier on this list. One outlier that I kind of put towards the top that I'm like, well, you know, we got to put towards the top anyway. But there is one outlier that I'm kind of like putting towards the top because it's just been so good. But the others that are on this list are series that I have not technically finished. So the top numbers 20 through 12 are going to be basically manga that I'm still in the process of reading, but really, really, really like. So keep that in mind as I talk about them because some of you will be like, but those manga are better than the ones at the top of the list. I'm not finished with them. So anytime I'm not finished with something, it has to stay towards the bottom because you never know. What if it ends horribly? With that being said, there are going to be some visual aids shown throughout this. Number 20 is actually a series that I have been reading on my own outside of the channel. Shocking, I know, but I started reading it before I even started my channel and before I even thought about doing BL manga reads. So it feels weird to talk about it now, but somebody had actually recommended this series to me on the channel, and I thought, oh, I am reading that. I should probably talk a little bit about it. So my number 20 is Engage, which is this series right here, which is by the mangaka Yu Minaduki. And Yu Minaduki, they started out, you can kind of see it, it's back here on the shelf. You probably can't read it, it's way too small. But they started out by making a series called Change World and then Sayonara Game. They were actually the first two entries into this series. It's all like an expanded universe, which I really love. It's a BL expanded universe. Sayonara Game and Change World started out this series focusing on one specific couple. And then the sequel series, Love Nest, focuses on like the friends of that main couple. And I honestly, of the 3 series, Love Nest is my favorite, I think, in terms of their dynamic. But I've really been getting into Engage. Engage focuses on this character right here, Naru. Naru has been like, or rather, yeah, yep. Naru has been our like side character throughout the series. That he's like the too cool for school, like sexy polyamorous guy that he's just like, I have relationships with all these people, but he secretly likes this character, May. Secretly likes them, has always pined for them, and it's kind of focusing on their relationship. It's honestly, I think the reason I put it as number 20 and actually included it on this list is it is the one example of an age gap relationship that I'm actually kind of okay with. I'm like, okay. And there's reasons for that, but I really like Engage. I think it's a fun series, and it's nice to see like a continuous BL series that delves into other relationships and they get their own stories. And of all the series so far, this one has the most fleshed out like premise. There's mystery to Naru. I mean, Naru's always been mysterious in the series, but there's like mystery to his character. There's some like weird stuff going on the side. It has me curious to know like what is his deal. So I included Engage in there as number 20. So like I said, numbers 12 through 19 are really series that I've been working on and just reading as a whole. Number 19 is Seraph of the End. I have been off and on reading that series for years now, and every now and then I'm like, I want to go back and see what's going on in Seraph of the End. And I really do enjoy it. It is definitely shonen-y by large, if you know what I mean by that, but it just, you and Mika as a pair are so compelling, and I just kind of want the best for them that I always keep going back because I want to know, I'm like, is you and Mika, are they going to end up okay? Are they going to end up together? And so this vampire shonen manga I keep going back to, and I really do enjoy it a lot. So number 19 is just Seraph of the End. Eventually I will finish it if the mangaka finishes it. Number 18 is only low on this list because there was not a lot of activity with it this year, but it's still so good, and that's Twittering Birds Never Fly. I will always support Twittering Birds Never Fly. It's one of my favorites. Domeki and Yashiro, their story, it's kind of like you and Mika with Seraph of the End. I just want happiness for them. I just want them to be okay. And so I did get a chance to read some steamy chapters of that this year, and Yonita Ko is like, I'm going to kick up the romance again. I hope you're ready. And I'm like, ah. So that's been a lot of fun. I really, really, really enjoyed it. Uramichi Onisan. Uramichi Onisan has been so much fun this year. I loved the anime so much. It was great. And so I honestly, Uramichi Onisan, it has given me a lot of enjoyment this year, especially catching up with the manga. I did that in the early part of 2025, and I don't regret it. It's just been volumes 9 and 10, which have compiled into the deluxe volume 5 is what I got to this year. And it's just, if you need a laugh, if you're struggling with stress and anxiety, it's just fun to read about people who are struggling even more. With that, so Uramichi Onisan has been a blast. I've really enjoyed it this year. I am excited eventually when they get to the English translations of the manga later on. I would love to get to those, so that's gonna be a fun time. Number 16 is Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, one of the OGs. Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, I hate that I waited so long to get back into this manga because it has been so good. I know people have requested that I watch season 2, and honestly, I've read the manga, so I already know what's gonna happen. So it's like, if I watch season 2, I'm not really reacting. It would just be my commentary. And I'm like, you could go watch the manga reactions if you want to see that as well. So I don't know, maybe one day I'll talk about it, but if you like Toilet Bound Hanako-kun season 2, please watch my manga reactions because the manga is so good and it's getting amazing, and I definitely want to dive into it in 2026 and get back and catch up because it needs to happen. It's just, the story is so compelling and the artwork is so wonderful and joyful and whimsical, despite it being creepy and terrifying sometimes. It's just such a good series, and I cannot praise it enough. Eventually I'll get the art books because I really want the art books. Next up, we have number 15. 15 and 14 are two series that I have been catching up on. One is on Patreon exclusively. So if you are just a $1 tier member on Patreon, you can access this. But number 15 has been open to everybody, and that is Chainsaw Man. It's only low on this list because, one, I'm still catching up to it, and I'm only like 3 volumes in. And two, it has been like a monthly, month-to-month thing. But I have really, really, really enjoyed Chainsaw Man. It's so good. Fujimoto. Basically, if you're like, oh, Chainsaw Man, that's that shonen manga, right? That shonen anime. Fujimoto takes all of the shonen tropes and then just puts them in a blender and says, no. And then just like spins them around. And it's just so genius. I have such respect for Fujimoto. They are definitely a mangaka that is not afraid to push boundaries and do things that are kind of risque, but he always does it in a very classy way. Like it comes off as grotesque and weird sometimes, but the way that he does it is kind of restrained in an odd way of saying it. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like, it's a classy choice to be as unhinged as he is. And I kind of respect it. So definitely Chainsaw Man. In the same vein, one of Fujimoto's friends, Gege Akutami, has been doing Jujutsu Kaisen, and that manga, I know season 3 of the series is about to start in 2026. I'm so excited to have it back on the channel, but the manga is so good, and I have been catching up on it. It's a Patreon exclusive because I'm like, you know, it's just a little perk of being a patron. I started that like a year or so ago, but I've been slowly catching up with the manga. I'm on volume 9. I just finished it and put it on the channel. So I've been slowly catching up. I'm into season 2 content to hopefully try to refresh my brain before diving into season 3. So that's been what's going on. So yeah, but it's just so good. And Gege's humor is just so dark and twisted, but it's definitely my style of humor. So I'm 100% here for it. Okay, so number 13 and number 12, I would normally have them so much higher on this list if they were completed, but I haven't completed them yet. So that's why. Now next year, you better believe that these two are going to be probably at the top of the list. So number 13 is Yona of the Dawn, only because I haven't finished it yet. I only got to like volumes 45 and 46 this year, which is a tragedy. But I've been waiting for the final volume to be completed. Honestly, this probably would have been my number 1 if I had been able to complete the series, but I haven't yet. I still need to read volume 47, and the only reason I didn't do it, I was actually waiting to record this video until after I had read the last volume of Yona of the Dawn, and then the moderator, Be Happy, got on there and was like, hey, there's going to be an epilogue chapter coming out in early 2026 if you want to wait and just read it all together. And I kind of do. So I'm going to kind of wait on that series until early 2026 when I can read the whole volume 47 as well as the epilogue. And then we'll just talk about it then. But I think, honestly, my only thing that I'm kind of irritated with is that, and this will not give spoilers away, I'm trying to be as spoiler free as I can with this list so that you'll go out and read these series yourself. But my only thing is that I feel like when I was on volumes 45 and 46, I was like, oh, she's probably got enough story in her to go to like volumes 49 or 50 and just round out an even 50. So when I found out the volume 47 is the last volume, I'm like, this feels like a very rushed ending, and I'm a little bit nervous about that. I'm like, I don't want any spoilers. Please, no hints or clues. Don't confirm or deconfirm if you agree with me or not yet. Save that for volume 47's reaction, and then we can talk about it then. It'll probably be out sometime in February, but I was just like, I'm like, it feels too soon to be quitting the whole series. It just feels like it's rushed, but I'm going to trust Kusanagi. I'm going to trust her with the final volume. I'm going to reread volume 46 probably at the end of January for myself and then go into volume 47. So we'll see. But number 12 is Cherry Magic. And again, the only reason Cherry Magic is so down on this list is because it's not done yet. I've not finished it yet. I would have it up there in like my top 3 if it were completed, but it's not yet. So I'm holding back. But I've really, really loved the manga. I'm just now getting into the parts that are not animated, and it's so good. If you love the Cherry Magic anime, please read the manga. It's so much fun. Volume 11's content that's up on my channel now, oh my gosh. It's so funny. I love it. I love it so much. I love Suge and Kurosawa's interactions, Adachi and Minato. Like, all of them are so wonderful. They're such good characters that are so well fleshed out. I've been having a blast with them. So I'm excited that I'm going to be monthly diving into Cherry Magic for 2026 until I'm caught up. And I will catch up this year. So then this list will be it'll definitely be higher next year. Don't worry. So now we're getting into the top 11. And these are actually the manga that I have completed for 2025, these 11 manga, which is still pretty good for me. A lot of them are Janyu Yaoi entries, so you shouldn't be surprised. Number 11, I actually was sent, I believe Be Happy sent this to me. Number 11 is Masked Danshi, which is this lovely BL, This Shouldn't Lead to Love. This was one of the Janyu Yaoi entries for this last year, and I really, really enjoyed it. Masked Danshi, it's low on the list because it's what I expected it to be, if that makes sense. As soon as I got into it, I was like, is this what I think it's going to be? And it kind of gave me vibes of Yes, No, or Maybe. But I did enjoy this more than Yes, No, or Maybe. So that's kind of, if that's any help, I did enjoy this a little bit more than Yes, No, or Maybe. But it was a really good series, and I liked this manga a lot. It was a great entry for Janyu Yaoi. I'm so glad I have the physical copy of it, so thank you. But it's number 11 on the list. Number 10, I don't know if you watched Janyu Yaoi for 2025. Number 10 took way longer than I thought it was going to take to get through. And that is No Love Zone. No Love Zone was a great entry for Janyu Yaoi. That video, if you go to my channel, is like 4 hours long. I ran my voice raw. I can't believe it's been almost a year since I read that piece. I read it right before the new year. It's been almost a year. I think my throat is still sore. But I literally, as I'm drinking tea and honey, that series, I walked in being like, oh, this will take me an hour or two to read. It'll be fine. I think I had like 6 hours of taping that I had to edit down. I was just like, it was so much. There was so much to that manhwa, but it was definitely worth reading. It was a lot of fun. I was hoping there were more people that looked at that video because doesn't have a lot of views. I think people see 4 hours and they're like, nope, don't have time for that. But it really is a series that's worth checking out if you get to check it out on your own time. I really encourage you to because it's really good. Number 9 is a entry that was recommended to me that I did as well. The Queen and the Tailor. This was such a cute little one-shot. I enjoyed this so much. The idea of this older top and this younger feisty bottom, like just, and the dark hair with the light hair dynamic, red and blue, it just, and I'm a big person that I love seeing fashion in anime and manga. I love seeing the drip that the characters wear, and this is mainly about tailoring. So it just fits so good. I really enjoyed it. It was adorable. I loved their relationship. It was short and sweet. This is definitely one of those like airplane reads. Like if I'm flying, I downloaded this digitally. And so I'm like, if I am on an airplane, like going somewhere on a quick flight that's like a couple hours, I will read this. So yes. And I actually got to do that this summer. I had the chance to like read it on an airplane and I was like, this is perfect. Like it's just a nice little quick read. I highly recommend The Queen and the Tailor. So adorable. Number 8 is kind of like the coveted spot on my list. 8's my lucky number. So I like to leave like number 8 as not the best thing that I read this year, but one that has a special meaning to me. And that's going to be one of the Patreon commission, the only manga Patreon commission this year, went to Love Letter. I think Nicholas commissioned that. And I loved this. Love Letter was this little short one shot that is actually really like kind of dark and sad and bittersweet. But it's this story about resurrection, about redemption, about kindness, about love. And it made me cry. Like it just kind of came out of nowhere. And I was not expecting it to have like such an impact. Like when I was going back through this list of what I'd read this year, I was like, oh yeah, that one. And it wasn't the best thing I read, but it was one that it's one of the more memorable ones. Of all the one shots, it's probably the most memorable. And I was like, So it got my number 8 spot. So thank you, Nicholas. I really appreciate that. I would love if more people commissioned one shot BLs. That'd be amazing, but I'll take what I get. I understand the appeal of the movies, as we'll get to later on this list. Now we're into number 7. Number 7 and number 6 are two very similar manga. They were both entries for Janyu Yaoi last year, and I really, really, really enjoyed them. Number 7 is Kazeto Kinouda, which is, you know, a more retro entry into the genre, but one that I really, really enjoyed. This is going to sound silly, but when we got to like the scene in the manga, and this isn't spoiling much, but there was like a cathedral and there's like a boys choir, all I could think of is that fake ad for Tropic Thunder, that's Satan's Alley. With Tobey Maguire and Robert Downey Jr. That's all I could think of. And I was like, is this appropriate to be thinking while I'm reading this? But it's so true. So unfortunately, I have not gotten the chance this year. This year has been so busy in and out of the channel. I have not gotten the opportunity to go and look at this manga in full. One day I would like to go and see the manga in full, because I know there's a continuation of it. It goes beyond just the OVA anime that I watched, but the manga itself that I have looked at is so good. And one day I would love to get back into the series because it's a classic. So it's number 7 only because I feel like it's technically complete, but it's not fully complete, right? Number 6. Number 6 is something that I'm so happy I have the full volume of. So those that sent me this, you know who you are. You're amazing. Thank you so much. But number 6 is The Heart of Thomas. This was such a fun read. It matches my shirt today. This is if you get your hands on this, find this book, find this and buy this in the physical copy, because just the pages, the color, the quality, it's so good. The hardcover edition is absolutely gorgeous. It's a little pricey, but you can probably find it on eBay or something that's maybe a little cheaper. But it is, if you are a BL fan, this is a staple. I'm going to say this is a staple. You have to have The Heart of Thomas. You need to have this in your collection. You can use it for self-defense. It's a brick, but it is just this beautiful story from the 70s is so good. And I feel like it's part of BL history. You need to have a story like this that's classic, that dates back to its roots. I mean, BL's been around since ancient Greek times, let's be honest, Achilles. But I do feel as though it's one of those series that you just need to own and you need to read. And honestly, I've gone back to it a couple times this year. Like, I'll be looking through my shelves and I'm like, oh yeah, Heart of Thomas. And I'll like start reading parts of it. So bittersweet, so beautiful. Just a great BL series that I think everybody should at least own or get digitally. If you don't have the space, get it digitally. And then this one's like for the long flight. You're going to Hawaii, you're going overseas, read this sucker. It'll take you a while. So now we're in the top 5 of the manga that I looked at this year that I really, really enjoyed. Number 5 is my exception. I said that if I hadn't like finished a series, I wouldn't put them in the top. Number 5 is my exception because technically I finished it, but the series may go on. I'm not sure yet. It depends on what Kizu decides to do, but number 5 is Given the 10th Mix. I just finished that and put it out on the channel. The 10th Mix is so much fun. If you're watching on YouTube, you probably have not seen the 10th Mix reaction that I have coming up yet. If you're on Patreon, you probably have, but it's so good. And technically this one side story from Given has completed this year with this, so that's why it's number 5 on the list. But it's just so wonderful, and honestly, it's so worthy being up here in the number 5 slot because Given is so special to me. You can't probably see it, but it's on my shelf right back here is the Given manga that I have. It's one of the first series that I watched on the channel. It holds such a special place in my heart. I will always love Given. And anytime Kizu is such an amazing artist. Anytime she gets a chance to draw something, I'm like, yes, please. I will absolutely be reading this. So I really, really enjoyed Given, and I hope you get to watch that video. I've been scattering out the 10th Mix reactions throughout the year, so hopefully you get a chance to check those out, because if you like Given and you've not seen the 10th Mix, you need to read it 100%. Mm-hmm. So this is my plea for you to read it. The top 4, honestly, the top 4, I think if you wanted to interchange them, you could. I would not complain about that at all. The top 2 for me were the ones that had the most impact. And number 3 is my guiltiest of pleasures, but I'm so excited to have it on here. But number 4 is Bloom Into You. Bloom Into You, I really enjoyed the anime. The anime was a lot of fun, but as I was getting to the end of the anime, it definitely, as a lot of queer media does in anime, it's manga bait. And I was like, okay, you baited me. I'll go see this series now in manga form. I am so glad I did. The Bloom Into You manga is, if you like the anime, the manga is even better. Of course, why are we surprised? But it just continues the story so beautifully. It makes me mad that they've not adapted it. And we'll talk about that with another series in this top 4, that they've not adapted it fully into anime. And it was such a great extension and gave such a wonderful conclusion to the series. I was really happy with how Bloom Into You ends. And sometimes that's hard. Sometimes when you read a manga series and it has to end, sometimes it doesn't stick the landing and you're like, I don't even know. But Bloom Into You sticks the landing, and it puts a nice little bow on top of a really sweet story. So if you've not checked out Bloom Into You's manga and you like the anime, do it. 100% do it. You will not be disappointed. Love it. Number 3 is my guilty pleasure. And I only say that because it was a very short entry this year, but it brought me such joy. And that is Ace of the Diamond, the extra game. The extra game! Yes! Oh my gosh. This extra game entry, I have been craving Ace of the Diamond content, and we just found out that the anime is coming back in April 2026, which is so exciting. But this entire year, I have been waiting with bated breath for an update on the series. So when I found out they were doing this extra game, which is a continuation from the manga, I was like, oh, I want to see it. And I'm not going to spoil anything about it, but if you are an Ace of the Diamond fan and you've caught up with the manga Act 2, you need to check out this extra game. And you probably already have if you're watching this video. So this was absolutely like the little injection I needed of Ace of the Diamond content to tide me over before the anime comes back. And I will likely be going back to this game and rereading it before the new season starts. So I'm probably going to hold off on rereading Act 2 though, because I want some freshness with seeing the events animated again for the first time. So I'm probably going to hold off and let that like be a surprise, but I'll probably reread the extra game because it's just so good. So number 2 and number 1 are, I really went back and forth on them, but in the end I had to keep number 1 as number 1. I just could not justify moving this one to number 2, but it was really close. And I have really, really enjoyed, before we get to number 1 and number 2, I actually just realized that I read volume 42 of Berserk this year. Oh my God. So yeah, I forgot about our honorable mention in the top 20 is Berserk volume 42. Why am I doing this? Why am I forgetting an entry? Probably because Berserk has caused me so much trauma. If I were to put Berserk somewhere on this list, it's still in the ongoing section, so I'd probably put it between Toilet Bound, Hanako-kun, and Chainsaw Man. It'd probably be my number 16. Berserk's volume 42 is a great extension of Berserk. I know a lot of people are not giving Berserk a chance because of, the main mangaka has died and his best friend has taken over the series. Yeah, crazy times. But I honestly like Mori's take on Berserk. I think he's doing it justice. I think he's doing what he can with what his best friend has told him where the events need to go. And I'm really curious about where everything's going. I'm excited about where it's all going. I feel like there's a freshness to the series that I like. So I'm here for it. I'm a Mori fan. I like Mori's take on it, and I'll follow it to find out what the hell Miura is planning, if anything. So that's my honorable mention. Would have probably been number 16. Would have been Berserk. So, and plus it gave me an excuse to cosplay. So there we go. Yay. But now back to the top 2. So my number 2 is Trigun Maximum. I freaking love Trigun so much. I'm so excited that Stargaze is coming in 2026. I'm going to fit it on my channel somehow. Somewhere, somehow, it'll have to fit in because I have to watch it. But I just love Trigun so much. I'm like sweating as I'm recording this, y'all. I love Trigun so much. And Vash and Wolfwood are they are my jam. And finally being able to sit down When I started the 1997 series, I had wanted to get to Maximum because people in the comments kept referring to Maximum. And I'm like, I'm going to get to it eventually. And then I did the 97 series, and then I did Stampede. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to read Maximum now. And the thing I love most about Trigun is that Naito and all of the iterations, it's still Trigun, it's still Vash, it's still Wolfwood, it's still the characters that you know, but every iteration is done in a way that is just a little bit different and a little bit unique. And I feel like as a fan, it's so cool. You don't see this happen a lot with different anime where you have all these different versions of the same story, and you as a fandom can kind of pick and choose which one you like best, but you also can all agree that they're all good, right? So it's like every iteration, like sometimes with anime series, you're like, oh, this version's the version we don't talk about, and this is the good version, right? Or it becomes a war. Like I've started Hunter x Hunter on the channel now, and people are like the 99 version versus 2011 version, and then there's like Full Metal Alchemist versus Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and people get kind of contentious about which version is better. I don't experience that with the Trigun fandom. Everyone is like, it's all great, and you just pick and choose which version you like the best. And I am kind of torn. I feel like that Trigun Maximum is maybe my favorite version. It's maybe my favorite version. I love Stampede and the 97 versions for their own reasons, but Maximum is just... I'm really excited to see Stargaze and how it takes elements of Stampede, and I feel like it's going to take elements of Maximum and combine them, and that has me so intrigued, and I want to see what goes down with that. But Maximum is just, it's Naito's artwork. It's just the frenetic energy. It's just, to quote the kids, it is peak cinema in illustrated form. I love it so much. And I'm so excited that I get the chance to see the influence of it in Stargaze. So that's what I'm excited about. So we'll see. But yeah, it's my number 2. So that leads me to my number 1. I enjoyed the anime for this series quite a bit. I really enjoyed the anime. And it was very whimsical. It was kind of dark. It was a little creepy, a little mysterious. And it had some philosophical elements to it. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is an interesting series. And then people were like, you have to read the manga. And the manga made the anime look like a child's amusement park. In terms of everything. The manga made the anime look like, oh, this is sunshine, rainbows, and lollipops. And here's like apocalyptic World War II shit. Like right here. The manga exceeded every expectation I had. It made me mad. It made me frustrated. It made me cry. It made me go through an emotional gauntlet and roller coaster with the main character that I don't think I've ever experienced in a series. Ever. And I don't know if I will again. I think Attack on Titan is like the closest I've come to that. And this still, I think, like went above and beyond. And I don't think I'll ever read a series like this ever again or be as impacted in the ways that it's impacted me. Number 1 is Land of the Lustrous. It seems so simple. When you watch the anime, you're like, oh, this is just this story about this little thing. Isn't that fun? It goes on to a level that gets spiritual, that gets existential, that makes you question your morals and beliefs and philosophies on life. It just, and I feel like I'm overselling it, but it just, I can't quite describe the way that this manga has kind of impacted me this year. It's really made me look at some things differently about my life. And that's, I think, the telltale sign of something that's incredible. So in that sense, it's my number 1. So I encourage you all, if you've watched Land of the Lustrous and you're like, that was fun, go read the manga. If you have no clue about Land of the Lustrous, I would watch the anime first. My whole philosophy is watch the adaptation first, because even if you don't like the adaptation, or even if you think the adaptation is great, the source material is usually better. So if you like this, you'll love the manga. And if you don't like this, you'll probably like the manga. So I'm always like, watch the adaptation first, then go to the manga. Because if you start with the manga, you may not like the adaptation. So number 1 is Land of the Lustrous. It's just incredible. It's such a good series. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that took me a solid 35 minutes to get through the manga review. Oh my God. But I'm going to reheat my tea just a hot second, and then we're going to come back and talk about the movies on the Patreon commission tier. But the manga I've watched this year the manga that I've gotten the chance to read this year have been so wonderful. I'm planning to read even more in 2026, especially for BL and maybe GL. So I'm excited to get to those and share more manga reactions with you all, because I enjoy reading manga and talking about it. You all seem to enjoy hearing me ramble about it. So before I get to the Patreon commissions, sound off down below which manga were your favorite this year from the list that I have been reading. And if you have any recommendations, especially for Janu Yaoi, it won't be for this year because I already have Janu Yaoi picked up for 2026. But if you have any recommendations of BL, especially one-shots that I should be reading in the future, please sound off down below. I would love to hear it. But yeah, so about those movies. So now it's time to spill the tea. On my favorite movies of 2025. So, like I said with the manga reactions, thank you all so much for the commission tier on Patreon. I have had other movies over on my Patreon that were just exclusives because I'm like, oh, I want to give extra like perks for being a member on Patreon. And so doing some movie reactions seems like a good thing to do. But I'm one of those people that, like, especially when watching other media, I sometimes need some motivation to get to it. And I'm like, if I don't have like a deadline or something I need to make me do it, I lose track of it sometimes. That's why having weekly shows on the channel keeps me watching regularly, so I don't get lost in the sea of everything else happening around me. Maybe you can relate to that. But some people were like, oh, we would pay you to watch movies. We would pay you to watch these things that we want that aren't necessarily related to your channel and what you do with anime and manga if there was a way to do that. And that's kind of where the Patreon tier came from, the commission tier. And so I was like, okay, we'll try it. And I honestly have been blown away with how much support you all have given me watching these movies like for a month. I didn't think that was going to happen. And some of you all are like, I'm not leaving this tier until you've watched everything I want you to watch. And I'm like, okay. So I'm just kind of floored by it. I don't have words except for gratitude. And y'all humble me that you are willing to pay this woman to talk about the movies you want me to watch about. That's so mind blowing to me. Thank you. Thank you so much. And it's also been so much fun to watch these movies because 99% of these I would never get to on my own. I wouldn't know where to find them. I wouldn't know where to watch them. I wouldn't know they existed. So thanks to you all, I have had my mind literally opened up so many ways this year into all of these different stories and themes and everything that have just made me, like I said with Land of the Lustrous, a better person. And that means more than anything to me. More than anything, that's why that kind of validates me having a channel, is being able to interact with these stories that just make my life more enriched and more open. So thank you. Seriously, all of my love to the Patreon commission tier. You all are amazing. And I'm so excited for 2026. Now, with that being said, we are taking a break from the commission tier in January because I have Janu Yaoi. So the extra movies that I watch, they can be time consuming. One was 4 hours this year and I was like, oh, so they can be time consuming, and Janu Yaoi can be time consuming like it was last year, if y'all know. So I am taking a break in January to do Janu Yaoi, and then I'll pick back up with the commission tier in February. So I'm super excited. But with that said, we don't have a top 20. We don't have a top 30. We almost had a top 40, but we have 39 different movies that I watched this year for the channel that I want to talk with you all about. And so, actually, the number 38 and 39 are on this list in this particular spot because I feel like they were cheating. Number 38 and 39 were two movies I technically had already seen before. One of them is one of my favorite movies of all time, and would honestly be probably number 3 if I put it up there. But I was like, no, that's not fair. I've seen this movie before. It's one of my favorites. Is it fair to put it that high on the list? I didn't want to do that. The other movie is one of my guilty pleasure movies, and I was so happy I got a chance to revisit it this year. But I was like, it's not fair to put it above the new films that I saw that I had never seen before. So number 39 is Super Mario Brothers 1993. which you people would probably be like, oh, well, that's not surprising. It's not good. I maintain, going back and rewatching it this year, it's not the worst movie I've ever seen. It's not the worst movie. It's better than Death Note live action. I honestly, there's some camp qualities about the movie and some production design elements that I actually really like about this movie. I will defend it. I will defend it as not the worst thing ever. I will defend it as something that's camp, something that's fun, something that is a time capsule of 1993, 1000%. I'll defend it, but I really enjoyed it. I just couldn't put it any higher on this list because I had seen it before. The same with Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park's one of my favorite movies of all time. I love this movie so much. Those of you that watched that commentary were like, you really know this movie. I was like, I kind of can quote it word for word. I kind of know this movie so much. I know what's coming. I know the quotes. I know the characters, the actors, the actresses. Everything is so good in Jurassic Park. It is my favorite Steven Spielberg movie by far. And it's just the way that it all holds up. Like, this movie is also from 1993. From the same time period. It's 30 years old. It still holds up. Like the physical, the puppetry, the physical animatronics, the designs, even the CGI, it all holds up. I'm like, yes. The only thing that doesn't hold up is the tech. The tech is very 1993, very outdated, but that's kind of what gives it its charm as well. I want to go watch it now. I want to go watch Jurassic Park at this moment, just talking about it. I may later on today watch Jurassic Park again because it's so good. But yeah, I had to put it as number 38 only because I technically have already seen it. It's not like, it felt like cheating to put it in my top movies. But if I had, I probably would put it as number 3. I had it there for a while, then I was like, no, that's not fair. So then I kind of felt similarly about number 36 and number 37. They are both from series that I've been watching or have watched before. And it kind of felt like my criteria for this list were a couple of things. One, how much did it blow my mind? That's number one. How much did it blow my mind? Because I would argue every movie on this list is worth watching. I didn't watch anything that I was like, that was a waste of my time. No, they're all really, really good. But did they blow my mind? Like, character-wise, character development, did that meet the criteria? Because y'all know I'm a character-driven viewer. I like character-driven stories. How are the characters? How did it blow my mind? How are the characters? What did it bring to the table that I'd never seen before, which kind of goes with blowing my mind. And then visually, how did it look? Those were the 4 main things, like the visuals, the characters, the style, and just the mind-blowing aspect, like the pizzazz on the end. Those are my 4 big criteria. So with 36 and 37, I feel like the character work is there, and the visuals are there, but it was familiar to me because they were series I was very familiar with, so the mind-blowing factor wasn't quite as high. Number 37 is My Hero Academia Heroes Rising. I like My Hero Academia a lot. It's a really good shonen. I like that series. I've not gotten the chance to get into season 7 or 8 yet because my channel's been so busy, but I eventually would like to get into it. Heroes Rising is only number 37 because it wasn't like, oh, this is something new I've never seen before. I know My Hero Academia. And also, even though parts of it are canon and canon in the series, I'm just kind of like, I'm always a little hesitant with movies like that because I'm like, are they full canon or is it just elements of it? So I enjoyed the movie a lot, but I feel like there were other movies on here that brought a lot new to the table, and so I had to put them higher. Same with One Piece Red. I really enjoyed One Piece Red a lot. It did bring some new characters to the table that were intriguing, and it was themed around Shanks, who's one of my favorites in the series, so I can't badmouth that. I just feel like I've been reading and watching One Piece for literally 25 years. So I'm like, it didn't bring a whole lot of like mind-blowing wowness to the table for me because I already kind of knew the tone and everything with that, but it's still a really good movie. If you're a One Piece fan, I think Red is an excellent entry. Same with My Hero Academia. If you're fans of those series, you're going to like those entries a lot. So for me, I'm like, there's nothing bad about them. I just think the entries beyond this have more to offer to the table that were new to me than these, with the exception of one, but we'll get to that one when we get to it. So, number 33 and 34, you will probably notice that a lot of these entries I've paired up in like little duos because they have things in common because all of these movies are good. So it's like trying to like pick out the best of the best. It's like picking the best flower out of a really nice bouquet. So, number 33 and 34, actually number 35 we're going to talk about before we get to those. 35 is a standalone. Number 35 is 7 Days War. I really liked this entry that Plora recommended and commissioned. It was a really, really good movie. I enjoyed it a lot. I would say it's one of the more like slice of life entries into the series. I liked the ideas. It had a very Goonies vibe to it of these kids like going off on their own and doing their own thing and getting against the adults and everything. I thought it was a really good film that was very slice of life, and I'm glad I watched it because of just seeing a movie be structured like that was really cool because I hadn't seen it since like The Goonies. So it was fun. I enjoyed it a lot. But it's number 35. Number 33 and 34, I feel like they just went together like peanut butter and chocolate. And that is number 34 is Moonlit Winter. And number 33 is The Summer. Both of them are pieces of queer media, and I really love that about them. They both are very Yuri themed, which again, really love that. I'm getting more into Yuri. But they also complement each other so well in talking about the bittersweet side of relationships and how relationships are not perfect and they have some dark sides to them. The only reason they're so low on this list is because I like happy stories. I like my stories to have happy endings, and these stories are very sad and bittersweet, and there is some happiness. I don't want to dog them too much. They do have some happiness to them, but man, there were parts of these movies that I was like, I'm sad. So, they're both really good, and they complement each other so well. If you're gonna do a double feature and you want some sad Yuri vibes, if you want a sad Yuri double feature, watch The Summer and Moonlit Winter. And I'd be curious to know which one you'd watch first. I'd probably watch The Summer first and then Moonlit Winter afterwards, but you could switch it and it'd be fine. But yeah, both of them are just really, really good films that are live action as well. Or no, one is live action, one is not. So you kind of can get the best of both worlds in that sense as well. So, but yeah, they're both really, really good. I like them. Number 32 is Children of the Sea. To be honest with you all, I almost put Children of the Sea lower because as far as the story goes, I had some problems with the story. It's probably the one entry this and 32 and 31 are the two entries on this list that I had some issues with the plot. But I put them high up on the list like I did because visually they are stunning. Stunning. Like Children of the Sea has some of the best animation I've seen all year, which is gorgeous. Of all the entries on this list of the 39 movies that I watched, Children of the Sea had probably to me the most problematic plot elements. And I was kind of like, but I don't think it hindered my enjoyment of it overall. And the visuals are so breathtaking. They are worth watching on their own. If you get to just go look at this movie, just go look at it. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I also will celebrate anytime 2D animation or hand-drawn animation or human-made animation is featured. I will celebrate that to the ends of the earth. So yeah. 31 was Maquia, When the Promised Flower Blooms. This one was really good too. The visuals, incredible, amazing. I still think of how this movie looks, and it's absolutely gorgeous. The symbolism with the looms, the very, like, it gave me a lot of Freerun vibes, which Freerun season 2 is about to start in next year. And so this movie was kind of perfect when it came out onto the commission tier because I was just finishing up Freerun. And so the vibes were there, and this was a great movie to watch. There are certain elements about certain characters in this movie that I'm not happy with, but overall, I don't think it hinders my enjoyment of it. And I really enjoyed like the bittersweet quality, and it made me freaking cry. So thank you, Maquia. Thank you for making me cry because you did. But I enjoyed it overall, and I think that's why it's higher up on this list because it just was such a beautiful movie that has some really, really emotional moments that I enjoyed. Number 30, I actually originally had this movie behind Children of the Sea and Maquia, but it was very memorable, and throughout the year, as I was compiling this list, this movie always kind of stayed a little bit consistently. I know number 30 seems pretty low on the list, but it's a good movie. And I always thought about it. It was like, yeah, I know, the Magical Sisters Yo-Yo and Nene. I really liked this movie. It's probably the least consequential movie that I watched on this list. It doesn't leave you with like any deep, resounding, impactful statements that need to be made, but it's memorable. And Yo-Yo and Nene are so, it's like it gave me Kiki's Delivery Service vibes, where there's maybe not super like themes of resistance to like things that are super like hyper important for our world today, but it's a fun movie. It's a fun movie, and it's nice and engaging, and it's like I could put it on and enjoy it on a regular day and just have it playing while I'm like grading papers or something, and not have to get super hyper invested in it. It's just very memorable, a fun movie. The animation was really pretty on it, and I still remembered it throughout the year. I kept going back being like, because it was one of the first ones I watched on the channel for this year, and I kept trying to remember all the movies because I didn't want this list to be impacted by recency bias, because that happens sometimes when you first watch something. It's like it's still fresh in your mind, so you give it more bias over something else. I didn't want to do that with this list. So throughout the year, I kept being like, oh yeah, Yo-Yo and Nene, and just remembering it and comparing it with other movies that I've watched. So yeah, it was a good time. Number 29 is such a controversial movie, and I had it ranked lower. I almost compared it to Children of the Sea, but it honestly, the more time I've spent kind of letting it marinate in my brain, the more I've ended up liking it, and that is Mind Game. At first in watching Mind Game, I felt like Mind Game was such a chore because it made me like question my decisions and question my judgment of it and being like, am I being judgmental? Should I really think about this more? And honestly, the more I have gone back to it, the more memorable it becomes. The animation is incredible. The animation is like Children of the Sea. If you're going to watch Mind Game, just watch it for the animation. It's so freaking good. There are some elements of it that I would change, but kind of like Children of the Sea or Makuya. But unlike those two, I feel like all the other elements and the good of Mind Game elevates it. And in hindsight, it's one of the better films that I've watched from that creator. And I'm really happy that it was commissioned. So yeah. Number 28, 27, and 26 are all three films that are related to content that I had heard of and knew, but was not necessarily familiar with. So number 28 is Batman Under the Red Hood. Nicholas, I have Jason Todd on my wall, on my shelf over here. I think it's right. Yeah, right there. Right there. Yeah, Jason Todd is there because I have to, because I have been a big fan of Batman the Animated Series. I watched it a lot as a kid. I don't remember a lot from it because, again, I was like 8 or 9 when I watched it, but I really liked Batman the Animated Series. I did not, though, ever really get into the movies. My brother is more into the Batman animated series movies. He knows, like, the ones with Joker and all that. Like, he's watched all the movies. And I just had not gotten into them because as a kid, I just watched the TV show. So this was a lot of fun. And this was, like, a really cool departure, getting to watch an animated movie in English. In English, I could actually, like, not have to look at the subtitles the whole time, which was fun. But also getting to like revisit a staple of your childhood, but in a new way, was really cool. So I enjoyed Batman Under the Red Hood a lot. And it's opened up all the Super Bat, fan art, and all of the Jason Todd and Nightwing fan art on Discord are because of this. So because of the doors on Discord that this movie has opened has been so much fun. So thank you, Nicholas. This is a good movie. Number 27 was My Neighbor Totoro. I liked My Neighbor Totoro a lot. It's one of the few Ghibli films that I had not yet seen, and it had been on my list for a while. And I'm glad that I saw it. It definitely kind of falls in the same line as Kiki's Delivery Service, where there's not anything like super hyper intense with the plot going on, but just like most Ghibli films, it is about the style and the atmosphere and the vibe. It is just about a vibe. It's about emotionality. You just kind of have to like let yourself go and immerse yourself in the film and just let the emotions hit you. And that's kind of what My Neighbor Totoro is. I'm so glad I've gotten the chance to see it now because I can look at the merch and understand the film. My Neighbor Totoro merch has been everywhere for as long as I can remember. And I've always been like, oh, it's that big gray thing. What is that? And now I know. Now I know. So I felt like it was, me finally like getting to know a certain piece of the zeitgeist that everybody else has known about for years and finally getting a chance to catch up. Felt really good. And then to go along with that, number 26 is Angel's Egg. I enjoyed Angel's Egg a lot. The only reason it is so low on this list is because of how short it is. It is so short, but short and sweet, right? But I kind of don't feel satisfied. I want more. I want more of the creepiness. I want more of the abstract. I want more of the philosophical weird. Like, this movie has hardly any dialogue in it, and it's the one film that I could watch straight with not being a problem. And as a character-driven person, it surprisingly is one of the few films that I've watched that doesn't have a lot of character development that works really, really well. And there is character development in it, don't get me wrong, but Angel's Egg is so unique, and I'm envious of those that got to see it on the big screen this October. I'm so envious of y'all. So envious. Maybe it was November, but I'm so envious of y'all because this would have been so fun to hear on the big screen and to see. And it's definitely like one of those staples in anime that it's like Akira. You need to see Akira. If you're an anime fan, you just have to see Akira. That's like ground rules. You have to. And Angel's Egg is also one of those that I feel like you need to see it. If you're going to be an anime fan, you got to at least watch it. You may not like it. You may not understand it, but you need to watch it and then be like, okay, that was an entry. I feel that way about Ghost in the Shell. Eventually I will watch Ghost in the Shell. One of these days it will happen. So now we're down to the top 25. Number 25 is just an adorable. Number 25 and 24 are just adorable. 25 is Sweet Bean. Sweet Bean was early on this spring. I believe that Sunspots commissioned it. Sweet Bean was so adorable. It's a live action film about this man that's down on his luck, and he gets this opportunity to like be a part of a business with these select group of people that all are connected in some way or another, but have different trajectories with their stories. I'm trying not to spoil too much in these entries like I was with the manga. Same with them. I don't want to spoil too much, but Sweet Bean is just adorable. It's just such a cute little movie, and it definitely warmed my heart. Same with The Boy, the Mole, Fox, and Horse, number 24. Sweet Bean and The Boy, the Mole, Fox, and the Horse, they're two films that I was like, oh, we'll see what that's about. And they made me cry. They made me feel like just the warm fuzzies. My heart grew 3 sizes watching them. I will say that for this holiday season, I feel like The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse is like a staple of my holiday season now. It's like Tokyo Godfathers. I have to watch this one. I have to watch Tokyo Godfathers. They are staples. They have to happen. It's so good. Mm-hmm. So I'm really glad that I got to see both of these sweet films, no pun intended, for number 25 and number 24. Number 23 is K-Pop Demon Hunters. I finally saw it. I was like, I'm going to see this movie eventually. And sure enough, someone commissioned it. And I was like, thank God I can finally watch this movie and not feel like I can't look up fan art because I'm going to be spoiled. And so, yes, K-Pop Demon Hunters was really cute. It kind of falls in line with Sweet Bean and The Boy, Mole, Fox, and Horse in that it was just adorable. I did like the music. I'm not a big K-pop person, so for me, it was kind of going out of my comfort zone, but the music's really good. I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. And then obviously, I mean, girl, just because you got that man in your sword does not mean you cannot use him. That's all I'm going to say. I know they're making a sequel and it's going to take a little while. I would see the sequel. I really am excited to see the sequel. It'll be fun. You probably won't have to commission me to see the sequel. I'll probably just react to it because it'll be a good time. But yeah, I'm super excited. It's only as low on the list as it is because the rest of these films are just so good. They're just so good. So, number 22 and 21 are two films that I have closely tied together all year long. I watched them in, I would say 2021 and 22, to be honest. 2021 and 22 are all very similar movies in terms of their tone, in terms of the quality of their animation, in terms of having female protagonists that are just really, really good. And just in terms of being really solid movies, they did not have the most compelling storylines for me, and they weren't the most memorable for me, but I really, Really enjoyed them. So number 22 is Saru Suberi Miss Hokusai is number 22. I really enjoyed this movie. I loved our main girl. I loved her artistry. I loved how the concept of drawing is tied into the story. All three of these films that are 20, 21, 22 are historically based. So I like the historical fiction element of it. It's just a solid movie. It's maybe not a genre that would be my go-to, but I'm super happy that I saw it, and I really, really enjoyed the film. Number 21 is My Miracle, which is similar in terms of having a good protagonist, having beautiful art style, being historically fictional, just all together, like it combines as like historical fiction with slice of life, with drama. I enjoyed it a lot too. I almost thought about switching these two, 21 and 22, but in the end, I just kept them together because that seemed appropriate. And the number 20 is In This Corner of the World. Honestly, I had this film a lot higher on my list. And then when I went back through my list, it's so sad. Kind of like The Summer and Moonlit Winter. It's so sad. And I wanted happier films in my top 20. So I was like, I made this number 20 because I'm like, it's a really high quality film. I feel like everyone should see In This Corner of the World. You should watch it. It's kind of a must watch. It is beautifully animated, the historical fiction element, combining this one woman's journey. It reminds me a lot of a film that's really high on this list, but that film is a lot more hopeful. This film has a lot of somberness to it. And In This Corner of the World, it's a gorgeous film. Would I watch it again? Probably not. It's kind of like sometimes I'll want to watch Grave of the Fireflies because even though it makes me cry and it's so emotionally charged, it's also like, sometimes it's like when you want to cry, you watch Grave of the Fireflies. But this film, I don't know. I feel like it's so dark and real, kind of like Grave of the Fireflies. But Grave of the Fireflies at least has like a little like, I don't know, the brother-sister dynamic in that film makes me want to watch it. This one, In This Corner of the World, makes me want to go, yep, things really, really suck. And I don't know if I want to relive that, but I'm glad that I watched it. So, in a similar vein, 20, 21, and 22 were all historical fiction movies, beautifully animated, great female protagonists, loved them. 17, 18, and 19 are unhinged. 17, 18, and 19 are some of the most unhinged movies of the year that I've watched. I'm not mad about it. I'm just like, what the fudge? Number 19 is Revolutionary Girl Lieutenant, Age of Adolescence. This was not a Patreon commission, so it almost feels like cheating putting it on the list. But how could I not mention how badass bonkers this movie is? The series itself, I will talk about in the anime update and the top anime of the year. I'll talk about Revolutionary Girl Lieutenant there, but anything that I had doubts about with that series, this movie alleviated those doubts. I want to put it higher, but I already feel like I'm cheating putting it on the list with it just being one that I watched for the anime series. I feel like it should go on there, but I'm putting it on here because the movie is so good. If you've watched Revolutionary Girl Lieutenant and you've not seen Age of Adolescence, the movie, go watch it. Now, is it perfect? No. There are some parts about the movie that I'm like, but the parts about the movie that are, I just made my jaw drop, made me go, what the hell? Like, just, if you want a mind trip, if you want to just have a bonkers viewing experience, go watch this movie. Make sure you've watched Revolutionary Girl Lieutenant first, or maybe don't. Maybe walk into this movie blind. How would that experience be? I don't even know. I don't even know how that would go, but anyway. So yeah, number 18 is Deadpool and Wolverine. Be Happy got this for my birthday. I'm so excited about it. I love this movie so much. It is one of the more commercial films, and I think that's why I put it so low on the list, because I was like, oh, there's some other gems that I feel need some more recognition, and I felt like it goes along with number 19 and number 17 so well in terms of being unhinged. I've liked the Deadpool franchise a lot growing up, and so I've watched the first two Deadpools, so I'm glad I had seen those first when this was commissioned, because again, it was a chance for me to finally see a movie I've been wanting to see, and it was just so hilarious and just vulgar. It was everything I expected out of a Deadpool and Wolverine film. I have no complaints. And plus it gave me a new ship. Now I'm Deadpool Wolverine, 100%, all the way. Number 17 took 4 hours to watch. and I don't regret a second of it. Number 17 is Love Exposure. What a crazy movie. If you remember Kung Fu Hustle from the 2000s and the Scary Movie franchises and the art of farce and parody put together, Love Exposure fits right in with those films. And it is so bizarre. It is so bonkers. It is so unapologetically unashamed of whatever it does. There are parts of this movie that are uncomfortable that I'm like, oh, there are parts that are uncomfortable, but I don't regret watching it. I feel like you have to walk into this movie knowing that it's satire, knowing that the uncomfortable aspect of it is intentional. It knows the joke and it knows that you're in on the joke with the movie. And when you walk in knowing that, because if you just walked into this and thought it was 100% dead serious, you'd be like, this is so offensive and this is so wrong. And I feel like this is one of those movies you have to walk in knowing that it knows what it is. It absolutely knows it's pushing your buttons. And that's kind of the point. And it's really good. And I honestly, now that I've like sat back a few months from watching it, I really appreciate it more and more every time I think about it. So yeah, it's on Internet Archive. It's hard to find, but it is on Internet Archive if you want to go watch it. So go check it out there. It's there for free. And so I feel like everybody should get a chance to look at it. So number 16. Number 16 is kind of a standalone by itself. I would say 14, 15, and 16. We're now getting into like the really good films, and this is where it gets really hard because like I said, all the movies I watched this year were great. And so now we're like starting to pick straws and pick hairs and nitpick and do all this. But number 16 got me into some jump scares. And I was like, what the fudge? Exhuma, which is this Korean horror film. I ended up really enjoying this more than I thought I would. Whenever this was recommended, I'm like, oh, this is going to be terrifying. I don't like jump scares. I'm not going to like this. This was like my exposure therapy to all of that. But I really enjoyed it. I tried to recommend it to my friend who loves horror movies, but their one caveat is they can't watch anything where a pet dies or an animal dies. And I was like, well. And so they were like, nope, can't watch it. And I'm like, but I really enjoyed this movie. It had a lot more going into it than I thought. It wasn't just a horror movie. There was drama, there was mystery, there was like religious symbolism. It was like a cultural experience because it's a culture I'm not used to. It was just a fun time. Now, so I'm glad that I watched Exhuma, so thank you. Sunspots and Floor for that recommendation. Number 15, the top 15, just go watch them. Just go watch them. Just get a notepad out, get your phone out, start writing down these. You need to be watching them. Number 15, I feel like everyone needs to watch, and that's Ruben Brandt, Collector. This like Hungarian film, I think it's Hungarian. Oh my God, if it's not, I'm going to feel so bad. But it came out of nowhere. I walked into this film 1,000% blind, and it was one of the best experiences of the year for me. I enjoyed it so much. There's going to be a lot of movies on this top 15 that were like, I went into 100% blind and it was the best decision I could make. I don't want to talk much about Ruben Brandt. I want you to just go watch it. Just know that it's animated. And if you like art, watch this. I feel like every art major I know, I'm going to recommend this film to and be like, have you seen this film? You should go watch it. It's really good. The only reason it is so down on this list, without spoiling anything, is that there were parts that I would change. That's all I'll say. If you go to my reaction, I talk about it there. But that's all. But I feel like the quality of it outweighs that. Whereas, down on the bottom of the list, some of the things I would change kind of outweighed the good. The good outweighs all of that. So I just go watch Ruben Brandt Collector. So freaking good. I enjoyed it so much. The only thing also that makes me mad is there's no fan fiction about it. I have gone to AO3 and there's no Ruben Brandt fan fiction. Why is there not? Do I have to do this? So yeah, that's where I'm at, but it was so good. Number 14 is the first slam dunk. If you're watching on YouTube, you may not have seen this reaction yet, but if you're watching on Patreon, it's either out or about to be out. But the first slam dunk, I only put it so low. Well, I put it lower on this list kind of for the same reason as Ruben Brandt. There are parts I would change about the first slam dunk. You'll have to watch that reaction and discussion for me to tell you what those parts are. But overall, I came into this having an expectation and was kind of blown away in a lot of ways. So Slam Dunk is the first manga that I ever reacted to on this channel. Those reactions are only on Patreon, unfortunately, because of YouTube taking them down. Shueisha. But I have been a fan of Slam Dunk for the last several years. I had been watching the Slam Dunk anime while grading finals to prepare for this movie. So it was a lot of fun diving into it. I was afraid the recency bias put this up really high on the list for me, but honestly, the movie definitely deserves to be number 14. I think that if you are a Slam Dunk fan, you're going to enjoy this. I don't want to say too much. Just go check out that reaction and discussion, and I go into a lot more detail about it. But I felt like I was finally glad to be able to see this film, and it lived up to my expectations and surprised me. So good news there. That was the one example of, like, when I said earlier that a series that I had experience with what it was based on before, kind of like My Hero Academia and One Piece, this is the other example, but there's a lot more to this film that made it higher on the list for me, and I'll talk about it there. So, number 13. I wanted to put number 13 higher. I did. But then the more I looked, look, y'all, I know I said this about 15 and up. Now we're to the nitty gritty. Number 13 through number 1, I really just couldn't move these films because there are aspects about each of them that draw me to them and make me love them so much. Number 13 is Fly Me to Saitama. It's one of the more recent films that I've watched on this list, and I didn't want recency bias to get in the way, but Fly Me to Saitama is so amazing. It has elements of love exposure where you walk in, you just need to walk in blind, not know what you're getting into, and just let it wash over you, experience it in full. So I'm not going to talk much about it, but Fly Me to Saitama is just one of those films where you need to go in blind, you need to expect to have a good time, and you need to just open your mind up. That's all you need to do. And it's going to be a fun time. And as someone that enjoys Janyu Yaoi, this was a fun surprise. A great precursor to January, as Sunspots would say. So thank you. Loved this movie. Number 12 is Uptown Girls. Number 12 is, again, a movie I could watch in English, so that was a fun time. Nicholas commissioned this one, and I think it's my favorite commission that Nicholas has put on here. I really, really loved Uptown Girls. Dakota Fanning and Brittany Murphy, R.I.P. Brittany Murphy, two incredible talents, and it was just such a fun, simple little romp. But honestly, some of the aspects of it, especially towards like the last third of the movie, have really stuck with me since I've watched it back in May. I still think about this movie and I still think about all the lessons from it. And I'm like, this was really, really good. So cheers to Uptown Girls. It was really, really a fun time. You should go watch it. Now, we are one movie shy of number 10, and I actually flip-flopped this movie with number 10 the last several weeks leading up to this list being recorded. But number 10 just barely edged it out for reasons. Number 11, though, if you like sports anime and you like stories about people who have, developed a fostering relationship through sports, you should probably watch As One. As One is so good. I loved As One so much. The historical factor of it, I loved that. I loved the relationships that developed between the characters. I loved that it was a drama. I loved the pacing of it. It's live action, but it still felt like, I'm usually an anime person, and this felt like it could be a sports anime. I would watch a whole sports anime about this series. It was so good. And coming off of Ping Pong, having watched that, this was such a nice, kind of spiritual successor to that in a way. So I thought As One was really, really good. But now we're getting into the top 10. And with the top 10, these 10 films are so fun, so good. I loved them. Number 10 is Extreme Job. Again, a movie I went in completely blind, and the first 10 minutes of it, I thought I knew exactly what it was, and I was like, oh, this is okay. And then about the 20-minute mark, the film takes a turn, and you're like, oh, this is what it is. Oh, and then I was hooked. Then I was on board. Then I was sold. Then I was completely convinced that this was going to be a fantastic experience. And it was. Loved it. So again, I don't want to spoil things for you all, but if you like something that is action-packed, that is hilarious, all I will say is chicken. I will never look at chickens the same way again. And so if you like action, if you like humor, if you like a little bit of mystery, this was such a fun film. I had so much fun with it. It was such a joy. I would probably go back and rewatch this several times. Just so good. All right, so number 9. I feel like Shimoyama in the Discord has been shilling imagery to make sure that this film is in my top 10. But honestly, I have not been able to get damn Tanukis out of my mind for the last several months. So number 9 is Pompoko, another Studio Ghibli-esque film that I never thought I'd be able to watch. I grew up in the 90s. So growing up watching Fern Gully, watching Captain Planet, watching Homeward Bound, watching Brave Little Toaster, there are a lot of animated films that I watched throughout my childhood that focused on environmentalism and kind of like, don't mess up your planet and be a dummy because it's the only thing you got. And I feel like we, as a human race, have lost track of that so much, it's insane. So getting the chance to watch Pompoko, which is another environmental film that tells you, like, quit screwing things up, humans, was an experience that I enjoyed. So I honestly have thought about this movie a lot, and it, like I said, these top several movies have changed me, as my dogs like throw things to me, human, has changed me for the better, and I've really enjoyed kind of going back to my roots with some of these films this year and getting into themes that I grew up with that I felt really strongly about and are tied to my moral core. Strangely enough, a movie about Tanukis has done that for me. So Pompoko it is. I've really enjoyed it. So yeah, Pompoko cements itself as number 9. I think the memorability of it edges it out over some other movies because I will never forget this movie, and Shimoyama sharing thousands of pictures of Tanukis every week has helped to cement that. And I don't regret it, and I love it. So there you go. But yeah, so now we're to the top 8. Like I said with the manga, number 8 is reserved for a special slot. And it's a movie that has deeply, like, emotionally gotten me invested. And it really helped start out the year with the commission tier in such a beautiful way. And I'm so thankful for it. Number 8 is Blue Giant. I freaking loved Blue Giant. I went out recently to a bookstore, which is actually pretty far from where I live, but I got the chance to go there, and they had the manga on the shelf, and I didn't even hesitate. I went, yep, Blue Giant manga, there it is. Okay, cool, we're getting it. Didn't even hesitate. I didn't have to because I knew it was going to be worth it. Blue Giant, my introduction into music anime. And what a great introduction. Blue Giant is such a beautiful movie. I loved the storyline. I loved our 3 characters and how their stories interwoven together. The BL elements, the romance, the music, and then the visuals just all came together to make this incredible movie. And I wish that they would just adapt the entire series as an anime series. I would watch it in a heartbeat. But yeah, it's so good. So number 7, I'm sure a lot of people would have a lot higher on their list, but I have a reason why it's number 7. Number 7 is Millennium Actress. Freaking amazing movie. Again, I try not to be too recency biased with everything, but with this movie, it's just incredible. Satoshi Kon, freaking love Satoshi Kon. What an incredible entry. A solid paced movie. The animation is incredible. The characters are incredible. I love the story. I love the themes. I love the twists. I love the surreal elements that Satoshi Kon only they can pull off, as they do. The only reason it's number 7 is because it's not my favorite Satoshi Kon film. I mean, I like Perfect Blue. I love Tokyo Godfathers. I love Paprika. Those films are probably, I edge it out a little bit, but this is such a solid entry. And some people have said in the comments that it's their favorite Satoshi Kon film. Valid. Understand that. You are so valid in that. It's just number 7 for me because the top 6, I think, just impacted me a little bit more. to be honest. Speaking of which, number 6, when this film was recommended, I was like, okay. I'd heard of it and I'd been told about this film and I just never sat down to watch it because it was a live action and live action's not always my thing. And I'm like, okay. But then I watched it and was like, and since then people have recommended me the subsequent other specials and I may watch them in 2026. But Bo Burnham Inside, holy cow. Yeah, amazing. I thought Bo Burnham Inside was so good, and I honestly had no clue what to expect from it. I didn't know, well, I don't want to say too much about it, but I didn't know it was the genre that it was. I did not know, the one thing I will say is I did not know it would be a perfect encapsulation of the pandemic of 2020. It is so perfect in how it deals with all the things going on during that time. It's so good. And I just enjoyed it so much. So people have recommended that I watch the extras and the outtakes and the other specials and things. I honestly want to. I don't know when I'll get to them in 2026, but I really do want to see those other specials because I enjoyed this so much. So it may happen. And for a Patreon commission to inspire me to want to watch the other subsequent series around it, that says a lot. So yeah, I don't think I've also laughed that hard in a long time. I think of all the entries on this list, that one I've laughed the most at because it was just so crazy. So we're at the top 5. These top 5 films are my favorite of the year. I love them so much. I will rewatch them and I will always think of them. So number 5, I did not expect to be so moved by a damn Kappa. But Summer Days with Koo, oh my God. This movie kind of like sort of just came out of nowhere and slapped me across the face. And I haven't stopped thinking about it. Every time I see a Kappa now, I'm going to think about this movie. It was such a fantastic addition for the summer when I was watching movies on the channel. The themes of resistance in it, the story is so good. And then just the elements like Koo, I just want to like hold gently in my hand and protect him from everything. I'm just like, I loved learning about the folklore with Kappa. I loved the storyline. I loved the characters. The animation was gorgeous. The emotional investment was there. It's such a good film. I really, really enjoyed it. But yeah, it is my number 5. Number 4, again, these top 4 films went in completely blind. No regrets. And number 4 is a film that I'm going to watch every October now because it's so creepy and so good. Coherence. Number 4 is Coherence. I'm not a horror movie person. I feel like I've gotten exposure therapy between this and Exhuma and this. I feel like I've gotten exposure therapy because Coherence is not a jump scare movie. So just know that. It's not a jump scare movie, not a slasher jump scare movie. It is a psychological manipulation that will make you question everything around you. And I've found ways to connect Coherence with other series that I'm watching on the channel. And I feel like I'm going to be doing that forever now. And it's one of those films that I'm like, I want to go back and rewatch. And every time I will find something new about it that I didn't see before that will just make me that much more invested in it. So Dana was a real one for recommending this. This movie was so incredible and I had so much fun with it. So go watch Coherence. It's especially if you want a spooky movie, go watch Coherence. Number 3 is actually one of the movies from this last month, and I'm obsessed with it. Which the creator of it made Neon Genesis Evangelion, so are we surprised? Number 3 is Ritual, Shiki Jitsu from 2000. Hideaki Anno film. Every aspect about this movie, number 2 and number 1 exemplify this as well. And so they're right up there with it. But every aspect about this movie, I could do a shot for shot analysis of this movie and we would be here all day. But everything about the construction, the design, the setting, the symbolism, the style, the elements, the themes, all of it blends in so perfectly. And what I love about this movie is it's not pretentious. Like there are some shows that I watched this year and some things I've seen that are pretentious, where it's like, look at us, we're artsy, and look at us, we're doing this artistic symbol. That was kind of my problem with Children of the Sea, to be honest. One of my problems with Children of the Sea is Children of the Sea, for me, in my opinion, gets a little pretentious and a little heavy-handed with its symbolism. Like, look at what we're symbolizing. Ritual does not ask you to understand. Ritual does not expect you to catch everything. Ritual does not explain to you what things mean. Children of the Sea over-explains a lot of its symbolism, like, this is what this philosophical thing is. Ritual treats you like an adult and says, if you want to figure it out, you'll study it and you'll figure it out, but we're not going to explain it to you. And I'm like, yes, give me that. I want something I can pick apart and analyze and think about without having to have it explained 100% to me. The visual symbolism, the way that Ritual handles its themes, the way that it builds up what you think is going to happen, and then something entirely different happens, and you're like, oh, but this still works. Oh my God. Every aspect about this film is like a symphony. It works so well together with itself. And I want to rewatch this movie over and over again, because it's just, if I was teaching a film class, I would show Ritual. We would show it and we would watch it, because you can pick it apart in so many ways. I definitely am going to recommend it to my coworker that teaches film. Be like, you need to watch this. It's really good. It's just awesome. I love it so much. So yeah, that's my number 3. My number 2 and my number 1 are both very similar movies. They are 2 films that I have been in love with all year. I love them so much. I have gone back and rewatched them a few times because I just love them so much. But they also, like Ritual, I feel like if I had a little bit more time to ruminate on Ritual, it might be my number 1. I love Ritual that much. But these first 2 movies, I've had more time to spend with them. And I'm like, yes, please. I love them. Number 2 is Tecton Concrete. Tecton Concrete, black and white. I want the manga. I need the manga. So it's so freaking good. Tecton Concrete, just, my dogs are around me demanding, but they should know I need to talk about Tecton Concrete. So this film is just so much fun. I feel like similar to Mind Game and similar to Children of the Sea, similar to Saru Suberi, similar to a couple other animated films I've seen, Millennium Actress. The animation is gorgeous. The animation in Tecton Concrete is so good. It's so stylistic. Coming off of watching Ping Pong, like with As One, I feel like As One, the sports anime aspects, it is the spiritual successor. Animation-wise, Tecton Concrete is the spiritual successor to Ping Pong. The animation is so good. The animation fits so perfectly, but there is so much to this movie, plot-wise, character-wise, theme-wise. It just, like Ritual, it just seamlessly blends it all together, and it doesn't leave you feeling like some films, it like ties everything up in a neat little bow, and sometimes it feels a little forced. Tecton Concrete does not try to force anything. Its story is so fluid, and I just loved it. But my number 1 has been my number 1 all year. As soon as I saw this movie, I was like, oh, everything else is going to have a hard time beating it. And Ritual came close. Tecton Concrete came close. But in terms of combining basically the themes and the visual symbolism of Ritual with the character development and the animation style of Tecton Concrete, and then you add in a little sprinkling of BL, and it's just perfection. Number 1 is Inuo. Are you surprised? Are you not entertained? Are you not surprised? Inuo has been my favorite all year, and I was like, something has to come along to beat it, and nothing did. Everything about this film, the tropes, the characters, the animation, the themes, the music, the storyline, the historical aspects, Inuo combines a lot of what these other films brought to the table and just did it in this beautifully streamlined, heartbreaking, but bittersweet and gorgeous a story that has me like, and it has that little bit of hope at the end that you're just like, nah, it's so good. It's so good. So yes, yeah, I honestly, with you all doing this list, the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, do I even record this? Because honestly, as I talk about these movies, I probably seem like I'm repeating myself, but they all carried so many elements that were similar amongst themselves that made it really hard to differentiate. So I ended up just like bunching movies together and was like, here's where they fall. But I'm sure you all have your own favorites as well. And I'm curious to know what those are. So, like I said at the beginning of this, thank you so much to the Patreon commission tier. I have been able to watch some incredible films this year that I'm sharing with other people, that I'm rewatching, that I've been inspired by. They have been so amazing, and I am so excited for 2026. As long as people want me to watch films, I will do it. But so I hope that, God, this was a long video. This is like nearly an hour of me talking about movies and over an hour of me talking about movies and manga. So I'm curious to know your thoughts down below. What were your favorites? What did you enjoy? What recommendations do you have for next year? And we'll go from there. But I will have my top anime video up very soon, so look forward to that. But in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and thank you all so much for the opportunity to get to look at these anime and manga and movies for the year. And I'll see you all again real soon with some more reactions. Bye.